They were the searing images igniting outrage across the country. Migrant children separated from their parents at the southern border. Now, an explosive new report on the Trump administration's zero-tolerance policy making this an election issue. Lawyers say they can't find the parents of 545 migrant children still living with sponsor families in the U.S. Tonight, what's become of those families separated and reunited? As President Trump makes his closing argument on why he deserves 4 more years, one of the darkest chapters of his presidency, child separation, is coming back to haunt him, even on the debate stage.
So how will these families ever be reunited?
Children are brought here by coyotes and lots of bad people.
Vice President Joe Biden firing back with a counterpoint.
Coyotes didn't bring them over. Their parents were with them. They got separated from their parents.
And according to the ACLU, the battle over child separation is far from over.
We now believe that there were close to 5,500 families separated. What this administration did, taking little babies, toddlers, but even teenagers away from their parents in a strange country, not telling the parent where they were taking the child.
The enforcement is part of the Trump administration's zero-tolerance policy.
The Department of Homeland Security is now referring 100% of illegal southwest border crossings to the Department of Justice for prosecution.
The plan, touted by then Attorney General Jeff Sessions, a deterrent the administration hoped would make people think twice about crossing the border illegally.
If you don't want your child to be separated, then don't bring them across the border illegally.
One of those kids? A Brazilian asylum seeker named James, who was just 14 years old at the time when he was separated from his mother.
Do you remember the moment they took you away from your mom?
Yes, I remember. I was really shocked. I didn't have no reaction, no feeling about anything. I was just paralyzed.
As the policy became more widespread, immigration rights groups started sounding the alarm. White House officials like former Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen forced to answer questions.
If that parent has a 4-year-old child, what do you plan on doing with that child?
The child under law goes to HHS for care and custody.
They will be separated from their parent.
Just like we do in the United States every day.
Amid the growing backlash, the president at one point blaming Democrats.
The Democrats gave us that law. It's a horrible thing. We have to break up families.
Lawmakers and immigration rights activists said that just wasn't true. Parents and kids left stunned and confused.
So they take you away, and at that moment, do you know what's happening? Do you even understand?
No, I didn't know anything because they just took me away, and we couldn't understand anything. It was because I didn't know the language.
Even the president's own wife denounced child separation when I sat down with her in Kenya.
You know, it was under your husband's policy, the zero-tolerance policy, that these families were separated, that enforcement. Is this somewhere where you disagreed with him?
Yes, and I let him know. I didn't know that policy will come out. I was blindsided by it. I told him at home, and I said to him that I feel that's unacceptable, and he felt the same.
But last month, in leaked audio tapes to CNN by the First Lady's former advisor, Melania Trump is heard discussing her visit to the border at the height of the scandal.
All these kids that I met, they are here in the shelters because they were brought by it through coyotes. The kids, they say, "Wow, I will have my own bed." It's so sad to hear it, but they didn't have that in their own countries.
On the White House website, the First Lady reacted to the leaked audio tapes in a statement, saying her words were taken out of context. The president eventually surrendered on child separation, signing an executive order ending it. But now, more than 2 years later, the ACLU says they have been unable to reach the parents of more than 500 migrant children taken from their families at the border before June of 2018.
We are still looking for hundreds and hundreds of families where the parent was deported without the child.
Both the Department of Homeland Security and the White House refuting the accusations.
It's very sad. The administration wants the families to be reunited, but for various reasons, the families just have not accepted the children back in many of these cases.
The ACLU challenges that explanation, saying, quote, We have not even found these 545 parents, so neither we nor certainly the administration can know whether they want to be reunited.
We're going to stop the inhumane practice of separating children from their parents and work to reunite families. Look at all the families that are not reunited.
Former Vice President Joe Biden is making sure voters don't forget about child separation, especially Latino voters.
We're going to restore sensible enforcement priorities and stop terrorizing Latino communities.
One group following both candidates but unable to vote, the families who are still here and caught in the middle of the child separation legal battle. We were there in 2018 when James was reunited with his mother Jocelyn after 9 months. The mother and son had to flee their native Brazil because Jocelyn says she was being abused by her husband. She says when they were crossing the border illegally, her son was taken away by immigration officials. He would end up more than 1,000 miles away in a facility in Chicago.
It was horrible, so painful for me as a mother because I didn't know what was going to happen.
Jocelyn would take refuge in a shelter near El Paso, Texas, as she waited to hear about her asylum claim. We spoke to her at the border as she just started her legal battle to get her son back.
Sabiendo ahora.
I asked her then if, knowing what happened to her son, would she still have crossed the border?
It's horrible there and horrible here.
For so many parents, like Jocelyn, they feel they have no choice. We recently caught up with them to see how their life has been going.
I think that despite everything that happened, it was an experience for us, but I still think things can be fixed. I don't think only bad things are to come.
How is your life right now in the U.S.?
It's going great. Like I'm doing like really great. It's been like really good since like we're starting doing school and starting like socializing with people and learning a different culture.
Now, mother and son are living in Massachusetts. Jocelyn tells me she doesn't focus on the past and has hope they can both stay here, together.
I think a person can't live happily thinking in the past and what happened because it was so painful. It was horrible. But now we're together and we're good, thank God. And I hope we stay that way.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.